Hi, Newark Baptist Church family and friends. Here we are again on another Wednesday evening broadcast, and we're going to do a Q&A type of a thing today, and so we're kind of excited about that. Before we start, I would like to note a couple of quick things. We have been doing some other videos aside from Sunday and Wednesday, so look out for those on Facebook and on YouTube. We did one last week with Elmo and Kat Compton, our missionaries to Peru. And if you haven't watched that video, go look on our Facebook page and check that out. They share a little bit about what it's been like for them going through all this COVID ordeal and the doors that God has opened for them. And beginning next week, Norm Heyman is going to start a series on Wednesday nights where he is going to be looking at some of the history of the traditions of the Jewish people. And a lot of times we have a wrong perspective of what was going through the minds of Jewish individuals in the scriptures. And so I sat in on his first recording for that today, and it was great. So be sure to tune in and be involved in that. So let's get started here. One of the questions I had read this off last week and answered it in passing, but what if I get to church and there's too many people there and I don't feel comfortable? Well, for one, that would be an amazing, great problem to have, wouldn't it? And even though Maryland is technically open to like 70 or 75%, we know that we have a lot of people in our church who are from Delaware, which is, you could like throw a rock almost to Delaware from here, and Delaware is at 50%. And so we're gonna stick with that 50% number for right now as far as how we are spacing people out. And we are putting together a overflow area in Memorial Hall. We're going to be doing that this week, putting up a projector in there, and there'll be sound and everything, just in case you get there and there's just too many people and you don't feel comfortable. And I'm really looking forward to the day that we have to use that. So as you guys start thinking about coming back, those of you who have not yet. One of the biggest questions that we have gotten, though, is about our kids department. So up to this point, we haven't been having our kids zone. The way that we do church, we have the adults that are, well, if you're over 6th grade, you're in the service. And then the younger guys, they go downstairs and they have Sunday school classes that happen at exactly the same time. And we haven't been doing that, haven't really been able to do that. But when are we starting that? This Sunday. And Sarah is going to explain to you what that's going to look like as of right now.
So before, we had our classes divided pretty largely. We had a bunch of different classes. So we had 0 to 2-year-olds, 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds class, the 3-year-old through 5 through kindergarten, and then we had 1st through 3rd and 3rd through 6th. But because I've already talked to a lot of my teachers, if you're watching this and I haven't talked to you, you will be getting a phone call in the next couple of days. So I have a list of teachers who are comfortable with coming back. And it is smaller than our normally. We're doing 0 to 3-year-olds, 4s through kindergarteners. Then we're going to do the 1st through 6th grade all together. And because I'm assuming that we'll probably not have as many kids, it's going to be easy to spread out. And if the 1st through 6th graders, it looks like we do have a lot, we'll split those into groups. But I don't know if we necessarily have to. The question was also brought up about masks. So I looked up what Hogan has said, and we're going to follow his regulations. He said on July 31st that anyone over the age of 5 would have to wear masks. So our classes from the 5-year-olds class, the kindergartners class, and down, if you're comfortable with them not, it's okay. If you don't feel comfortable and you want them to wear a mask, just let the teacher know, and we will really encourage your kids to keep their masks on. But that means the 1st through 6th grade class, you're going to have to wear your mask. We understand it's hard, and we understand that we have a second grader now, and it's like torture keeping his mask on. But we will have our teachers, and they'll talk to the kids and just try to encourage them to wear them. So we're going to try our best, have some grace as we try this new classrooms, but we're excited to have your kids back. I'm excited that I don't have to do this anymore and that we get to teach live. So that's that question.
Yeah, and everything will be cleaned down and wiped down as we would expect for every facet of what happens here on Sunday. Next question that's on my list is, why is YouTube posted so much later than Facebook? Facebook is a live stream. It is posted as the service is happening, but we don't have enough internet speed here at the church to be able to stream to 2 different platforms. And so the YouTube video ends up being edited and then posted later in the evening, but we're dreaming of a day that we have enough internet speed to do both at the same time for those of you who are watching on YouTube. Our upcoming events. Now, as you know, like this time of year, we typically have a whole slew of different types of outreach events that we have been taking part in for the last several years. And we've had so many people say, are we still having trunk or treat, MOPS, women's retreat, movie on the lawn? And so Sarah's going to answer all of those questions for you.
Yes. So actually, this is really funny. I've heard a bunch of people say, well, we can't have them, right? No, we are having a bunch of them. They're just going to look completely different than our normal, but I'm still excited that they're going to happen. And so our movie on the lawn, we usually have carnival games. We usually have concession stands, face painting, all of that stuff. Those things will be canceled. But when seating begins, everyone's going to come for movie on the lawn and spread out. And then instead of people going to get their food, their popcorns and drinks and a candy, we are going to have volunteers wearing masks, bringing it to them. And so we'll need a lot more volunteers. And so if you're interested, please come and talk to me, because we would love for you to serve. This is one of my favorite events. Olaf is going to be there. We're watching Frozen 2, and it's just a great time to get our name out there and just serve the community in a way that brings people in. Then our question was asked about trunk or treat. We understand that it is going to be very difficult to do trunk or treat, but I think we've come up with a way that is safe and is a way that we can do it. And so we're going to have registration that people can come and online and register for a specific time. It's going to be 3 hours, and they'll be 30-minute slots. And then instead of individual candy handout, we're going to do a goodie bag per person. So candy sign up is going to be coming up soon. So be on the lookout, because I will bug you to sign up for a trunk and for candy. So we are going to have that, more information to come. MOPS this year, for those who are normally our kids workers, have noticed that we're not like bugging you to be kids workers. That's because we've moved MOPS to the first Tuesday of the month at night. This way there is no kids department. We just have so many kids. So if you're watching this and you're a part of our church or just part of our community, and you're like, man, I could really use a night out with other moms and be encouraged, that's what we're doing. We're just meeting up upstairs, eating some food together, learning about Jesus and who God created us to be as moms. And our theme verse is, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's just a great time, and that's from 7 to 9. So if you're also interested in that, feel free to reach out to me. And then the final thing is women's retreat. We did have to cancel women's retreat for October because of restaurants restrictions. They wouldn't take large groups, so it would be really just hard to serve us and do it the way that it's supposed to be done. And so we are going to look for the future. Hopefully sometime in spring. It might look a little bit different this year. That's like our theme, right? Everything looks a little different.
Another question that has been asked multiple times, and I know is out there, is what is happening with choir? Are we ever going to start choir back again? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. We are starting choir back. As soon as the choir is ready, we will start that back up again. And no, the worship team on Sunday morning is not in any way, shape, or form replacing the choir. In fact, all the people on that group on Sunday morning want to join the choir. So I'm really looking forward to causing Bob some problems and not having enough space to put everybody up there in the choir loft, which will be an absolutely amazing thing. And you know, so many churches are, they're very compartmentalized as far as like the types of music that they have. It's like, well, I go to this church because it's contemporary, or I go to this church because it's traditional, or I go to this church because it's Southern gospel. And the truth is that there's followers of Christ in each one of those groups, and there's so many more. And, I'm dreaming of the day that like anyone can walk into Newark Baptist Church that has a rational type of music that they like and say, you know what, I felt like there was something there for me. And so moving forward, we're really looking forward to see what doors God opens for that. The biggest question that we've had, the most frequent question, has been, how are we doing financially? What type of cuts have we had to make? And I am so honored to be able to stand here and tell you today that we have not had to make any cuts so far this year. There have been things that obviously cost us less because we've been limited in what we've had the ability to do. But I remember as soon as this pandemic was declared and then the stock market went crash and burn, the thoughts were going through my head, like what are we going to have to cut? Like what's going to happen with our giving? What are we going to do? And I think financially speaking, like if you want to know a person's heart, just look at how they spend their money. And I can tell you that we've not had like a banner year by any sort, but the faithful people of Newark Baptist Church have been giving. And as of right now this year, we are about $40,000 in the hole, and you're like, oh man, I got to give more. Sure, go for that. But if you keep in context, though, we put a roof on that cost $50,000, which we raised 100% of the money for that last year. But in this physical year, if we don't include the roof, which was an outside of budget item, we're about $10,000 to the good, which is just an unbelievable, outstanding thing. And so thank you for your faithfulness, for those of you who have been faithful in your giving. And I believe that no doubt in this time it is probably the truest reflection of your heart that it has ever been. So how can I give, or how should I give? It's a question that we get quite frequently. There are three ways for you to give financially to Newark Baptist Church. One, and this is the preferred, most desired way because it means you show up at church on Sunday and you feel comfortable doing that. But as you come in the vestibule, there's a box there to the left, and people have been throwing their offerings in that box. Also mailed in. You can put the church's P.O. box on a letter and throw it in snail mail, or online giving through our website. That's the avenue that Sarah and myself have been using as of late. You just go on the church's website, newarkbaptistchurch.org, and you'll see a little tab there that says NBC members. If you click on that tab and then scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a little tab there that says Give. You'll have to fill out a couple of things there it's called Tithely. It's a very secure app that we have there on our website, and that has been working well. Like roughly, I would say a quarter of the money that comes in comes through our online giving through Tithely, and then the rest is probably equally split between coming in through the plate and coming in through the mail. So just something for you to keep in mind. Thank you, Newark Baptist Church family, for your faithfulness in that. I know so many pastors that because of the financial condition of their church, this pandemic has really just been a nightmare and a monster. And so I thank God for the financial stability that He has granted us through this. Couple of other things real quick. We are going to be having our work day coming up. Typically we have it on the last Friday of the month, but this upcoming work day is going to be on the first Friday of October, on October the 2nd. The 25th is going to be a movie on the lawn. And so if you all get your stuff ready, we're going to go through and clean everything and try to get everything outside straightened up and ready for the winter. And if anyone is free this upcoming Thursday, like the day after you're watching this, I am going to be replacing a pump on the baptistry and putting up a projector in Memorial Hall. So if a couple of you guys want to randomly show up on Thursday morning about 10 o'clock, that would be absolutely amazing. And I'd like for you to start seriously considering and prayerfully considering coming back as things are starting to open up. When you get to the place where you feel safe going out into public, going to a restaurant, I believe that it's probably time to consider coming back to the Lord's house. And so on that note, we love you, Newark Baptist Church, and we'll catch you later.